I just saw Transformers 1, and this is going to be my spoiler-free movie review. Now, this movie, I think, has been overhyped way too much. Like, everyone was saying this is an amazing movie, the best Transformers movie, and this and that. And in my opinion, I just don't think it was that good at all. I almost didn't even like this movie. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some amazing things in this animated film, like the cast. I thought pretty much everyone did a great job. I really liked Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime. I really liked Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. I think the animation was really good. The story was really good. The dynamic between the characters was awesome as well, which we typically don't get in Transformers movies, like the live-action films. There's not a lot of, friendship and dynamic between the robots. But since this movie is all about the robots, we get a lot more of that, obviously, and I would say the best dynamic that we explored was definitely Optimus Prime and Megatron. It was just really cool to see them go from best friends to then eventually becoming enemies. There's some really good heartfelt moments, the action is pretty good, I would say the directing overall was pretty good. And overall, it is an enjoyable movie. I think pretty much everyone is going to have a good time at the theaters, especially young kids. But even older fans of Transformers like myself are gonna have a good time as well. It's just not gonna be, this amazing animated film that people were making it out to be. Some people were comparing it to, Into the Spider-Verse, and I don't think this is anywhere close to as good as that. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about my negatives. The first one I want to say is the first half of the movie. It was really slow, not as interesting. It just wasn't written as well, in my opinion, either. And then on top of that, my biggest negative with this is the comedy. There is so many moments that they're trying to get a laugh from the audience, but it just doesn't happen because the writing for the comedy in this movie is abysmal, in my opinion. Some people might like it, but me personally, I didn't laugh like a single time. And neither did my audience, and I gotta say, Bumblebee is so annoying in this movie. He is like a 5-year-old kid who just had like 10 energy drinks. He just never stops talking, and I know that's his whole shtick in the movie, but it was just so annoying. And he's always cracking jokes, but the jokes are just terrible. Like, they're jokes made for, like, 5-year-olds who are watching, like, a Transformers TV show catered to them. And I know what some of you are going to say, oh, this is a kid's movie, it's animated, blah, blah, blah. But, like, no, this is a movie that should be enjoyed by anybody who likes Transformers. You can't just make the jokes for, like, a 5-year-old when you know that adults are going to go too. For example, if you look at movies like Toy Story and, Pixar films, there's always jokes that adults will get, understand, and laugh at. But for whatever reason, this movie, they just don't give any good jokes to get people laughing. And it's a little bit awkward because this technically would be a pretty funny movie, but just nobody was laughing, and it was just awkward because there's those little comedic pauses after a joke is said, and just no one laughed, so it was very, very weird. I will say the third act of this movie is very, very enjoyable. It is action-packed, it's got a lot of heart in it, there's a lot of emotion, it is just a really, really good third act. I just wish the first and second act were as good as that, because then it would have been a really great movie. I also want to say I really enjoy the lore of Transformers being brought to this movie because it's a movie all set on Cybertron, which we've never had before, so there's a lot of lore that we get to explore. Didn't mean to rhyme there, but it is nice to see as a Transformers fan. I also was a fan of pretty much all of the designs. I think they all look pretty good. Especially Optimus Prime. Like, look at that. That is, chef's kiss. Now, I feel like I'm going to be a Debbie Downer when I give my review out of 10, because look at this, on IMDb, this movie's at almost an 8, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's at 88%, like, people are loving this movie, and I don't know how, like, they're basically saying this movie is, like, spectacular. But in my opinion, I did not feel that way, so I'm going to give Transformers 1 a 6 out of 10. Like I said, that first act and a bit of the second act was super slow, super boring, I just wasn't feeling it, but the movie definitely picks up in the second half. I still enjoyed the movie, I like all of the characters and the direction that this new animated franchise is going to go in, so I really hope it does well enough to get a sequel. But that's been my review of Transformers 1. If you have seen it, let me know your thoughts about the movie down below in the comments. Did you think it was amazing, or were you kind of like me where you're in the middle? Let me know your thoughts down below.